Hello everyone and welcome back to the next episode of Property Elevator, What Happened Next? Now this is the first time that we've done this with a follow-up from Series 7 because we always get lots of questions, lots of people asking how the deals progressed, did they progress, and essentially what happened next. So Nicholas, Lloyd, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hello.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's great to be doing
It's
this.
been a good
We're always getting asked,
curve.
what happened to that deal? What happened to that deal?
Exactly.
And, I think it's really important to know what goes on behind the scenes, how much work goes on.
Yep.
Months on from the show, we've still been working on this deal and others actually.
Yeah, well, we're 6 months now since filming.
Yep.
Lloyd, give me a quick backstory of what the deal was that you brought to the show.
Yeah, so we had purchased, put an offer on a brownfield site up in Suffolk, and we wanted to build 4 four-bedroom houses on the site. There were some contentious issues going through the development with the contamination, various surveys we had to do. A lot of information wasn't available at the beginning, which came to light halfway through. A lot of delays. My partner here, Nick, pulling his hair out trying to get the funding together.
Trying to get valuations through at this time in the market's the tough bit.
Yeah,
it was a tough period.
Yeah. But you had a lot of progress.
Yeah, I mean, literally
for 6 months.
Frustratingly,
And then
last week,
Yeah.
the deal's fallen out.
Yeah.
Well, it's fallen out in respect of we sort of turned down the latest set of terms negotiated to keep it alive because it just wasn't viable at this time. It's coming up to the winter. If we had continued with it now, we would have real difficulty getting the works done over the winter months with the weather.
Okay.
So actually, we'd have then had to sit on the site for a few months,
Yep.
which when you've got some finance costs, senior debt
Got lots
costs,
of interest. Yeah.
but it also got downvalued. So about a month or so ago, we had the banks come in and downvalue it. So there's a lot more capital needed to put in. So the numbers started to not work. Then we were looking at putting 5 houses on instead of 6. It was an old garage site actually, and 2 of the fuel tanks under the ground had been removed. For some reason, the vendor had not removed the 3rd and final tank. There was a little bit of a red flag all along there that we were trying to get to the bottom of.
Okay.
And we
Interesting that you've just said that you were going to then put 5 instead of 6. A lot of people would think
5 instead of 4. Did I say 6?
Okay.
Sorry, 5 instead of 4.
Right, okay.
We're
So you're going to try and add one.
So we're trying to asset manage the site to make it more viable.
Okay.
The numbers just about worked
Right.
with what Lloyd presented and brought in with what he knew.
Right.
And as we started to find out about this potential contamination and some pre-commencement conditions that needed satisfying with the planning, we needed a topology survey. We needed this tank either removing or infilling, which the actual cost of which wasn't prohibitive.
No.
It was maybe £5,000-6,000. But it's the unknown of doing that, so we need more time. Then we're leading into the winter months.
Yeah.
Can't sit on the site for 5-6 months because of finance costs. That
Yeah.
would again make the numbers not work.
Yeah.
So we were trying to renegotiate with the vendor on terms to extend the deal out till the spring, at which point we could have exchanged almost subject to getting these tanks satisfactorily removed. And it just became a bit of a mess in terms of he wanted too much.
Along the process of all that happening, the person I thought was the vendor was actually one of the partners.
Oh God, yeah.
And his name was,
we
Martin.
won't need to mention names.
Right. And he suffered a heart attack
Oh my goodness.
throughout. So I was telling Nick and various other people I could write a book about this development.
Literally.
So much has gone on. I think everything happened that could happen happened on this
Yeah.
development.
You could do a podcast about this deal.
It was a great
Well,
experience.
funny that you say that.
Yeah, no,
podcast
literally
with it.
everything. Heart attack, then having to chase
Chairman
this
of
chap.
the group that worked
He
in-
wouldn't then divulge what
was
part
going
he
on.
played in the process.
Okay.
I had to come clean with the agent and just say, look, I know you guys don't like passing information to developers to go direct, but I really need to get to this guy so we can recover this deal because it's drifting. I mean, Nick was chasing me. Our broker was on us. We can't, lending it's not open-ended. So eventually did manage to get a Zoom meeting with Nick, myself, and the vendor. And we had quite an awkward conversation, but he was quite receptive to what we wanted. However, he then took the opportunity to decided he wanted to have a deposit, a large deposit, which was more cash to raise for us because he wanted this in advance.
Right.
So it just we became aware it was becoming less viable, and he was getting more frustrated, which was fair enough. He'd waited 8 months. I mean, it was 6 months since we met, but it was 2 months before that we were talking to him. So it was a bit simple. I mean, we sympathised with him, but after the call, Nick and I chewed it over a little bit, and it just seemed to make sense to
walk away,
let it go and move on.
I mean, we made an offer that worked for us, but he declined that. I wanted a much bigger chunk of non-refundable money up front, which was just not. It wasn't worth the risk. You know, you've got to weigh all property deals are risk versus reward.
Yep.
And so we're taking, you know, we'll get on this more in a moment. We're taking everything we've learned from that, hopefully ploughing it into a cleaner, easier site with pre-prepared costings for certain houses. We're going to look at that option instead. So.
Totally. I think as well, you've highlighted a really important issue here of how complex moving from an offer to an actual completion can be sometimes. Definitely. What do you feel like your biggest take-in or your biggest learning was from this particular deal? If you can just pick one, I guess.
Well, the biggest learning for me, I mean, Nick's been through it before, but this is the first time for me on this scale, was the stamina you need. You know, everything else is doable. I have a mentality a bit like Nick. I know it's all about getting around things, getting over things, and making things happen.
Finding the
and
solution.
Everything's possible, but there comes a point where you hit lots of brick walls, and it kind of nudges away at you, and you know, you're at night talking to your spouse about things, and you're talking to Nick about things, talking to friends, and there's a lot of negativity out there as well, because a lot of people don't want to see you succeed. Some people, you know, feel that it's, you know, because it's beyond them, it's something you shouldn't be doing. But you've just got to keep focused and keep pushing on through those barriers. And for me, that was the biggest thing. I was talking to my land sourcer yesterday, and he asked me the same thing, and I said, look, my advice to anyone going into this as a newbie would make sure you've tested the water with your stamina and your capabilities to go through these roadblocks. It's like a constant hurdle, isn't it? You gotta jump over the next,
and it's all about mentality as well, right? You've got to keep that positivity and keep finding the solution to every problem, because there's so many problems along the way. And I guess another learning of that is knowing when to walk away. Would you agree?
That was what I was going to add in at the end, is just keeping your eye on the numbers and keeping your head in the game rather than your heart. It's very easy to get tied into a site with
emotion,
the time and effort you put into it, and then just wanting to get it over the line because of that. And I think that was, you know, certainly towards the end, we probably both felt that a bit, like we really want this to work. You know, so there's a few times there where we probably pushed harder for those reasons, but at the end of the day, you've got to make the right financial decision.
And this is a long-term relationship now, right? We've built the foundation. The first deal didn't come through, but hopefully there will be something more in the pipeline. I hear you have maybe something up your sleeve.
Absolutely, something Lloyd's found and brought to the table.
I brought something only recently to the table, and it's the concept in a nutshell is working with an architect that I know. He's come up with this idea that many young people, because he lectures in various universities around the country, and he's correlated a lot of information about what do young people want to buy, what do they want when they buy, and how do they see their lifestyle. And you know, they're young professionals. When they start out, they don't have much money, but they want to be independent, they want to have their own home, and they want to have a spare room for when the baby comes along. So they're quite keen on smaller type developments in kind of a nice location. It's always about location, and a small garden. So we're looking now at doing some, it's almost like a kit form where it's very fast to build. So it'd be based on a SIPS type concept. And they're all ready to go. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 beds.
Interesting.
And they'll all be, I don't like to use this term, but they will be, I suppose affordable is a good term, but sometimes it strikes up different sort of ideas in people's heads.
Cost
But
effective.
There will
building.
be, cost effective and mortgageable, which is the most important thing.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people now going into container homes and static homes, but you can't get mortgages. They're just depreciating assets.
Yeah.
So this gives them the opportunity to leave a legacy to their family.
Fantastic.
That's the idea.
So very first stages then.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Been looking at the numbers.
I only
this
told
week.
Nick yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a few days ago. You sent
Well,
me the
yeah.
initial proposal, but you sent me the numbers yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So we got.
But that's a great thing about keeping forward, right? Failing forward, as they say.
Yeah.
On to the next straight away.
But
Pick
I mean-
yourself back up.
When we've done deals on Elevator, often we've gone on to do different deals than we did that was pitched on the show with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You know, that's sometimes a theme, because for me, when I'm making offers on the show, it's about meeting people that are driven and ambitious, and Lloyd's definitely that. You know, he's been tenacious. He's tried to get over every problem and got over lots of them.
Yeah.
You know, we've worked together to get it as far as we had.
Yeah.
So that's testament to you. You've done a great job on that.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
likewise. I
not gone
mean, you know,
unnoticed, so.
we're all emotional human beings, and I don't mind. I'm at that age now where I like to share my emotions. I don't hold back.
Good.
He was crying every week on the
I
phone.
was- yes.
No, he wasn't at all.
To get a shitload of tissues in, but no, I mean, you know, occasionally along the way, I mean, this is what this program's about. It's not just about the deals; it's about the mentorship, the support, and the teaching. Because I was thinking this morning, there's three aspects to this. You can, you know, you're either a mentor, a teacher, or an investor, or it's very difficult to be all three. And if you are, then I think you're the perfect sort of partner. But when you're on the other side of things, like me and you into it, you are hitting these blocks, and I don't know everything. I know a lot. I've been around a long time, traveled around the world, worked for lots of companies, but there comes a point sometimes you don't know. And when we were getting to know, because there's this period where you get to know your investor and the character and the personality and what the boundaries are.
Yeah.
And when we got over the honeymoon period, we did have a few, you know, heart-to-hearts, and he shot me down in flames for not sending various emails, and I shot him down in flames because I said, yes, I did, but you didn't get it. But no, we had a bit of fun. I mean, you've got to have fun along the way.
Absolutely. It's so important
Definitely.
to add that fun element, of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what
That's
are you
your
doing it
passion.
for?
Yeah, you're passionate. If you don't have the passion and enjoyment for what you do,
Yeah.
what's the point in doing it? And you know, Lloyd, like me, likes doing deals and wants to get a deal done.
Yeah.
The fact that we've not got this deal done, you know, I think we've both got over it reasonably quickly because we just want to do a new deal.
Yeah.
But take what we've learned with the relationship, know where our strengths are, and go out and find something
Yeah.
that does work. You know, slot something in that fits all the boxes that this one didn't.
Yeah.
You know, why waste that months of experience working together when you know exactly what you need now to make it work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's important to have that mindset. The mindset's the most important thing. You know, wake up in the morning and have your plan and fulfill that during the day. But I mean, it was great working with Nick, and we, you know, relationships. I'm sure that will develop, and we've got this new deal, so there's a lot of exciting things coming.
Yep.
And of course, you know, we're realistic. This second one might not work, but you know, Edison had, you know, millions of failures before he invented a light bulb, so we got a long way to go.
I like that. Hopefully not too far.
No, we'll get there in the end.
Invent the light bulb on our second shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I saw this image. It was a cartoon image of two people starting a race, and they were jumping over hurdles, and the guy on the left had a little pop up, and he saw the hurdle, and the guy on the right saw the finishing flag. So that's what we're focused on, the finishing
Love that.
flag.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love that. So what would you say then for somebody who may be wanting to apply for the next series? How do you feel like your experience has been since the show till now?
I think it's been brilliant. I mean, I could see this as a big catastrophic failure. What happened?
Yeah.
And I had an upset day. You know, yeah, sure, I was a little bit upset, but then, you know, you got to sort of get up and shake yourself off and move on. But experience for someone else, I think they should do it. Definitely. I would push anyone to do it. In fact, I was part of at the time, I'm not now, but I was part of an academy with about 50 budding developers.
Okay.
I asked them all to apply. I bet you none of them have. But it takes
Well, they're not
individuals.
open yet. Applications aren't open yet, but they will
But
be.
it does take individuals, because you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what I found with various people, and it does take particular individuals. So it's a little bit like what I was saying about the journey during the process. Well, before starting that journey, make sure you're able to, come here, get over your nerves, do a decent presentation. I mean, I got ripped apart by some of the angels on the day, but that wasn't going to stop me. And fortunately, Nick saw the light at the end of the tunnel with me, and here we are. So go for it. Yeah, definitely go for it.
Fantastic. And so what's next then, Nick? What's the next steps?
What for us,
Yes.
for the partnership? Well, I need to go and analyse the numbers that Lloyd sent me
Let me just
yesterday.
record this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to whip them out?
I'll be doing that next week, so I'm travelling tomorrow. And yeah, we're interested to see there's a third partner there that's the architect partner. So we'll be meeting him, hearing his vision and passion for where he's got to with it, and then seeing if we can all team up and make something happen. And then there's already a land site that we're looking to put these houses on.
Okay.
So it's analysing that, the numbers on that site, and if that's a goer or not. Otherwise, it's if the houses work and we're confident in those numbers, we're confident we can finance them. It's something we need to check out. And then it's a case of finding a site to put them on.
Oh, we've got a site.
Yeah,
But we
but
haven't
if
put
that
an
one
offer on it
if
yet.
that one doesn't work, no, so we'll analyse that one.
Yeah.
If that one works, great. If that one
Yeah.
doesn't, we will find a site.
Yeah.
So that's a concept that I've wanted to get into for a while.
It sounds
there's
like
a
a
good
concept you
opportunity
can
to
roll
learn
out,
about it.
right? Multiple areas.
multiple
not
areas. I mean,
if it works once.
Yeah, and it could roll out to other areas like disaster zones. I mean, we could go into other types of businesses with it, but for now we're just focusing on the UK property market. The desperate buyers being young people between 30 and 45. I know guys 45 that still haven't got their first house. So to have an opportunity, I think there's a big market out there for people who want to buy homes like
Totally.
this.
It's got to be affordable, and affordability at the moment's really
Key.
key for people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for developers building, the cost of building has never been higher. Will it come back down now? Inflation's back in line. One hopes so, but they're going to hold it out there as long as they can, aren't they? So building cheaper is one of the ways that we can help the UK, deliver the housing requirement it needs.
Yeah.
So it desperately needs more housing, more house building. I firmly believe, and I've done videos on my YouTube to this effect. The buy to let is dead, as we've known it. Just buying houses, single lets. The margins are so minimum, if existing at all.
Yeah.
How do you make that work? So my advice to anyone I'm mentoring is go out there and learn to be a proper property developer, add value, build homes, do conversion opportunities that work, and you've got to add way more value than you could have done in the past to deliver housing.
And sell, I guess, as opposed to
and
holding
then sell.
these.
So actually, the traditional development of building houses, for me over the next few years, is where there's a lot of money to be made, because that's what people will need. I think house prices have started to come back already, and I'm hoping they will continue to do so for the next few years. And we've got a few years of stable, sensible growth, not too crazy, but just sensible, which means people will be buying again.
Yep.
And so that's the
Important
place.
point there as well, Nicholas, so that you said about, you've switched your angle of how you're working now, and keeping that flexibility and being able to mold and adapt to the ever-changing times. It's changing so quickly, isn't it, these days?
Absolutely.
Well,
Switching
they
a
are
little bit
changing,
more.
and they're going from. I just spoke about one end of it, the young, upwardly mobile people who want a home,
Yeah.
and then you've got the other end of it, the retirees who are retiring. They want to downsize. They want to do stuff with their money, and they don't want a big house. They want something on one level, which is what the concept of these are. They're sort of chalet bungalow style properties.
Bungalows have never been in more demand than now
expensive,
across the country.
Yeah.
So that we've got two markets there already, and like I say, there's all the bits in between that. But we mustn't be distracted. We've got to stay focused on this first part, and then we can start sort of spreading our
Try
wings
to get
out.
one scheme delivered,
Yeah.
make sure it works,
Yeah.
and then it's a case of
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and our
Make some
I think
hay.
it's a great personally, I mean, it's early days because we haven't a chance to discuss this in any detail. But the architect's an award-winning architect. He's very much into what Nick and I would like to do with these properties. He's not the business person, so this is all new to him, and it's quite exciting to him. You know. So I think the recipe, the combination between the three of us would work.
It sounds like you've
really
got
well.
a good mix of different skill sets.
You need a good team around you.
Totally.
So if this chap has got what it takes in that department to manage his corner of the business, it could be a great power team.
Yeah.
Well, I love the positivity, Lloyd, and I love
Thanks.
the action and the moving forwards, keeping the momentum. You know, a week later and you've already got another deal to Nicholas.
Nothing knocks us down.
Absolutely. All the best with it.
Thank
I
you.
wish you lots of luck. Thank you very much for coming to have a
Thanks.
chat with me today.
That was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'd like to just thank our sponsors, Roma Finance, as without you, this wouldn't be possible. And make sure that you tune in to the next episode of Property Elevator, What Happened Next. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.